Welcome to the Multichain Nation. Today we have Dato, co-founder of Humanode. Uh, Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Rudy.
Excited to have you and learn more about your project, what you're doing. So give us the rundown of Humanode.
Yeah, well, it all began in 2017 for us. Victor and I, Victor, my co-founder, we're exploring various layer ones and trying to understand how really decentralized they are. And in our understanding, well, proof of stake networks and proof of work networks tend to centralize around capital. That's like some common knowledge right there. Everybody knows that, and it's really hard to kind of get out of that paradigm. And we've always been thinking on how to create an egalitarian system, a consensus mechanism that would be based on real humans holding equal value and equal weights in the same consensus mechanism. So that's how the idea of a human node was born. So the principle behind our layer one is pretty simple. One human can deploy only one node, and all nodes are equal in terms of validation power. So that's what we do. And what we came out with is basically making sure with private biometrics that every human behind a node is a real human and a live human. So that's how we operate. As of now, we have 1,800 human nodes. That's why we call them human nodes, basically, all around the globe, all continents, running the consensus without a single like mining equipment plugged into the consensus mechanism or any single coin staked. So it's a completely different like infrastructure that's purely built on biometric security. So that's who we are, and that's what we do.
That's that's something that I feel like this industry definitely has issues with is like bots and just crowded infrastructures where people don't even know who's human, who's not. And it's kind of mucking up the waters. We definitely like the idea of, all right, this person is one person, they're a legitimate person, and that's a person signed the contract and they're real. And how does one you know register on Humanode and become a node?
Well, becoming a node is like a really simple process. You just have to download a launcher from our website, and then you need like a very small amount of tokens to pay for the gas fees, which is like equivalent to several cents right now, just to pay for biometric processing and being registered as a validator in the validator set, and that's it. You then go through like a 50-second facial recognition scan, and there you go. You like verify that you're a real human being and you're plugged into the validator set, and then you validate transactions just like on any other network.
Nice. And now that you're building this, and it's obviously its main goal is to be as decentralized as possible, how is Axelar coming to play with helping Humanode accomplish that mission?
Tremendously. You see, while we're developing, of course, our layer one solution, and we like ground our security and Sybil resistance into the biometric process, we have also built up the so-called crypto biometric infrastructure. It's basically private biometrics that are not only like available to our validators, but are also available to other like layer ones and services out there that you want to have Sybil resistant users on their chains and in their dApps, right? And so Axelar is the bridge, and like we're building with Axelar because it will help us to settle the gas fees, building the monetary bridges between all L1s and our chain, because like the crypto biometric processing and everything happens on our chain, and you have to pay to our chain, right, and to our validators. And so basically, Axelar plugs this so-called monetary gap, right, and plugs the bridge between the layers and allows people to pay in their native tokens on their chains to verify on our chain, right? And this is like very, very important. And we're already like deployed on Base, on Avalanche, on Sonic, on all these chains, right? But before plugging into the Axelar infrastructure, people have to buy coins on one side, then they have to buy coins on another side, and it's terrible UX, right? So Axelar us like allows us to up our UX game, so to say, and like makes it very comfortable for people to verify themselves on any chain out there.
Now, when you were thinking about this problem of, okay, you're building your own L1, you have to connect to all these other layer one, layer two blockchains, what was running through your head between, using XR and using different protocols that might help solve that issue? How did you land on XR?
Well, to tell you the truth, there was like pretty big research that we conducted, right, on how to achieve this, and it all boiled down to the self-service provided by the XLR community, right? There are many projects out there that like provide bridging, to various ecosystems, but Axelar was the first one to actually provide the way to integrate like a proper Web3 project and not like a Web 2.5, project that
Yeah.
takes fees and then puts you into the integration queue and you have to wait forever. And here, like Axelar just rolled out everything that you need to plug yourself into their the XLR's ecosystem, so like that's why we chose this approach, and of course we had like tremendous, I would say, support from the Axelar like builders community. They are always there in Discord to answer all our questions, help us with anything that we need when we're developing stuff, of course.
That's awesome. And that's what I keep hearing about XR is willing to help and really help develop and build the projects that are being built on top of their protocol. So it's one thing just to make something, but it's another thing to actually support your users. Now, for Humanode, when I guess you probably get this question a lot, what is the difference between your project and any other project trying to solve this mission of one human, one node, or just biometric locking to an address to a wallet?
Well, the major difference is, of course, that we are like running an L1 on those biometrically locked wallets. Nobody like does that. You usually see like identity layers on top of other L1s that are just anchoring their like security into a proof of stake or proof of work based environment, the ecosystem, right? So, in the end, it's always safeguarded by uh, capital, so to say. In our case, it's like pure biometric defense. So, like, we rely heavily on, AIs because we utilize AI modules to understand whether you're a living human being or not, and it negates all deep fakes, all like artifacts, masks, silicon, um, you know, um, basically
I've
masks
seen those
from Mission
masks with like
Impossible. We wouldn't be able to
people are
penetrate
putting
it.
them on.
Yes.
Yeah,
No
it's
way you're
pretty
going
nuts.
through. And there's nothing else beside this. So that's why we're constantly upping our like defense in a sense that, there's no capital, no mining to help us if things go badly. But we've been running the chain for like 2 years and 4 months now. There was TVL locked inside. It was like $10 million during the bull market, right? Not so long
Hmm.
ago, and we didn't have any problems. Like we were not hacked or anything. Like we're actually running a bounty program together with our partners from FaceTech,
Nice.
and if you're able to like deploy a node with the same face, you get the 300K.
That's a pretty sizable chunk of change.
That's well, some people say it's like not worth the effort, but I mean, come on, guys, like 300K, it's good money, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends, right? I mean, if someone takes if a team takes a couple of years to get that, then yeah, it's kind of tough. But that's the whole point, right? Like, it's not easy, so it's pretty hard. But and especially with facial recognition technology now, I think I've heard iPhone Face ID being able to like use someone else's face, like one in every couple million or something like that. But with technology now, or probably with AI, it's getting more and more advanced and actually seeing and keeping track of every little feature. So that's
And
interesting.
actually, you just led me to the second biggest difference, I think, which is privacy, of course. Like, we really care about privacy. So we made sure that in our encryption sequence, basically, there's no point where you can see the original biometric data in plain text, so to say. So once you like go through the biometric session, right, the original like photos and video, because it takes like a small video of you, gets deleted instantly. It is then like turned into like a special 3D template. It looks like a blue circle with vectors on it. And even if it's that not enough, we actually take this 3D template and then we encrypt it on top, and we send it into a CVM, trust execution environment, basically, where there is a server, and even we cannot access what's going on in there. And on top of that, every half a year we burn it, like we delete it absolutely. And there is nothing like stored on the hardware. It's all stored in the operational memory. So once you plug it, like you plug the server, everything is just gone. There's no way anybody is getting any like in like any views of the biometric inside. Like, it's impossible to get your hands on it.
Nice. That's probably a huge relief for a lot of listeners because I know it's a big issue with WorldCoin because no one knows where your iris scan is going, especially because it's the weird hardware device scanning your eye. Uh, but like, what happens if someone loses their wallet or address? Can I'm guessing they can just rescan, and that same encryption layer should regenerate your keys.
Well, as of now, it's really dependent on the timing when we refresh the servers, right? So, as I mentioned, like every half a year, the biometric data gets wiped. So if you lose like your wallet, and it's still going to be attached to your face in that server, right? For another like several months before the biometric refresh is done. So once it's done, then you can like reattach your face to a new wallet.
Good. So no worry about losing your keys. Now that you said you have like over 1,000 nodes like, available now, you are still developing it and working on you know Humanode. What's next for the project? What's upcoming? What should we get excited about?
Well, actually, the next most exciting thing about what we do is the integration of Axelar's, monetary bridge into our product called Biomapper, right? So
Hmm.
we have a product that allows you to become like Sybil resistant on chain, and like you scan yourself once, and then using our internal bridge, you can bridge to any like layer one that is connected to Biomapper. So then there are now 6 layer 1s already connected. We rolled out a product like a month ago, but every week we like add a layer there, like all the time. So what we're very excited about is finally like integrating Axelar into Biomapper, that will allow you basically to pay for your biometric scan from any network, right? And then you can bridge your biometrics to any network using like also Axelar for paying the gas, and be like Sybil resistant on all networks simultaneously. So that's the feature that we're rolling out pretty soon, and that's what we're really excited about in our
That's awesome.
development right now. Yep.
Now that we have like a real human like notified and understood and created on Humanode, if I go to any other chain, they can collect or read that this person is a legitimate human and use those same credentials for like a passport or for some type of licensing or any type of identification using that data that you've created.
We already now have like use cases on Base and Avalanche, right?
Hmm.
Where There's a gaming platform and a DeFi protocol that, for some reason, right, they are facing the issue with bots. Actually, I think every project in this fields
Yeah,
that issue in one way or another.
everything on the internet is.
Absolutely right. So they'll basically they want to make their users, EVM compatible wallet addresses Sybil resistant, and the Biomap is the basically go-to product in this case.
That's congrats for pushing along, because getting the first use cases are well, first use cases live and in use is difficult, and in 2.5 years seems like you've done a lot. Were you always into the crypto industry? Like, how many years were you in crypto and then decided to actually work on Humanode?
Actually, I'm in this field for 12 years already. I've started in 2013 when I was on the like third course of my university. And then, like, as soon as I finished the university, I knew what my destiny was. And it was Web3 degenning. It's a joke. It's a
I,
joke now. It's like, oh, yeah, I have just had several startups before with exits. Some of them successful, some of them burned to the ground. But, well, it's the
that's how
part
you
of the
learn.
experience, the path, And, well, for the last 4 years now, we're solely concentrated on Humanode. In our vision, like in 10 years, for example, there should be 1 million human nodes around the globe, right? And imagine to make an attack on such a system, right? You need to, well, to hold the consensus and finalization, you need 33%, as the usual stuff, the 33% plus one. Now, if you have 1 million people that don't know each other around the globe, you'd need to collect 333,000, like the 333 plus one person to carry out an attack like that, And I think that that's the point when I will personally believe that Humanode is properly, truly decentralized on a planetary level.
1 million, that's the number.
That's the number.
That's a. It's funny how it sounds big, but when you think about it, you know, it's not that far away. People get 1 million users for their products very quickly nowadays, and it's something very feasible. Now to
It
get
might
those,
sounds funny, I'm not boasting or anything. It's just shows the sorry state of decentralization in our in Web3, because even right now, I mean, we have probably the biggest Nakamoto coefficient in the industry already with 1,800 people. So, like, for those of you who don't know what Nakamoto coefficient is the amount of basically nodes that require coordination to carry out the most basic attack on your consensus, is to halt the finalization, right? So it's usually like 33% plus one. Some proof of work networks have 50%, 51% attacks, of course. And with 1,800 people, right, we get a 600 consensus Nakamoto coefficient. And that's by far more than any other chain out there. Probably on this scale, we're now competing with decentralization with Bitcoin directly. But Bitcoin's decentralization is also very questionable with the mining pools and cartels just pretty much owning the network and the market. So there's not no such thing happening in our side though.
yeah, you can't fake that many faces. Now, now that you're trying to get this number of 1 million, where can your community members get involved? People who are interested in this, like, where should they go?
Uh, like getting involved is very simple because there's no like monetary barrier for you. There's no like lower threshold of the amount of capital that you require to join this. Well, there is like the technical barrier, of course, because well, you know how to set up a node and stuff like that. But that's it. You can say that it's like a basic intellectual barrier, but beyond that, anyone can get involved. Like we're very looking forward to like people joining up, and every single person that joins the Humanode network makes it more decentralized. Like you can spun up a node in a half an hour, and for verifying like for verifying yourself once a week, basically, you're like making Humanode more decentralized, and you're safeguarding the network. Thus, your existence becomes more meaningful because you become a living, breathing key, from the network. So, if you guys get inspired by such something like this, you're more than happy to join.
And is there a reward for being a node?
Yes. So right now it's equal to $24 in HMND. And basically, even if you run a cloud like VPS server, basically, right? Like you can run a $7 cloud server and get $25 return from the network. But it's more like symbolic, because
Yeah.
you're not getting millions of dollars for investing into something like this. But I want to say that there are like probably like 1,850 nodes right now, and probably 800 nodes are running it without any fees involved. So they're just doing it for like because they believe in what we do, and they believe in the ethos of egalitarian distribution of validation power.
That must be a good feeling for you and the team just to know that there are
Yes.
people out there who are like, all right, they believe in us, and that's a good motivator.
Yes, at this point, my team members are almost the zealots. It's like they believe in what we're doing, profoundly, and well, we'll see where it leads us to.
Well, thank you so much for letting us know about Humanode. Thank you for building, and it's amazing to see blockchain and progress and different direction that we need in this industry. And hope for the best. Thank you, Dato.
Thank you, Rudy. It was a pleasure talking to you, man.